Folks, welcome back to So Bad It's Good, presented by Betches Media. Folks, I love this new season of House of Villains. It is one of the funniest reality competition series out there right now, because if you love competition reality series, this actually has a lot of competition in it, but they do it in such a way that you laugh kind of consistently through each hour-long episode. Now, one of my favorite cast members this season has been the one and only Victoria Larson. Now, you might remember Victoria from the 25th season of The Bachelor, Matt James' season. She also appeared in Bachelor in Paradise. But she's got like a business degree. She teaches Pilates. She's done everything. Unfortunately, we have her on the week that she has been eliminated from the House of Villains. So let's talk about that and everything with the one and only Victoria Larson. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Victoria, listen, I'm pissed that you are gone because I thought you actually tell the truth in that house and you're not afraid to go up against the other cast members, because I'm not a huge fan of Larsa, and Larsa was giving you hell once she was in that. How do you deal with people like Larsa?
Well, normally when I'm in situations like that in real life, I remove myself, which I think it showed. I'm literally trying to remove myself. And the episode where Camilla said I was following her, it's like, actually, no, I wasn't. But I was being followed in the house and it was exhausting. But how do I deal with people like that? I don't know. It sucked to have everyone in the house turn against me, because I thought more people would like value and appreciate like honesty and my definition of loyalty. But it's the House of Villains after all.
How do you feel about even being labeled a villain? Because when we saw you on The Bachelor, you were kind of given that villain moniker on top of giving the Queen moniker. Is that something that you kind of are amused by? Because I don't think you're a villain in your actual everyday life. So is it something that you've leaned into over the years?
Yeah, I think good people do bad things. So we can all be a little villainous. And I think it's fun to push boundaries. I've always been a villain in the way of seeing what I can get away with. Like, I'm not a very like straight and narrow type of person. So kind of on The Bachelor too, a lot of things were enhanced just to see how far could I push it. And I think on House of Villains, it's 4 years later from The Bachelor. And after all the backlash I had online and this or that, and just life in general, I chose to like grow and evolve. And I don't think I'm a villain now, but I do think I'm outspoken, loud, and other things that might be labeled as a villain, but I'm not. My brain doesn't even think maliciously. Like, that's where I don't think I'm a villain.
But like then you get into this house with people that are, the same, if not even bigger personalities at times. Was it like kind of a shock to the system to get thrown into the house with these people? You have Teresa Giudice, you got Wes, who's really good at gameplay. You have people trying to kind of make their bones in reality television. What was it like for you to step inside that house?
No, it was exhausting. And I think that's why when Larsa was saying I'm playing victim crying, like, no, those tears were real. I was so overwhelmed, so exhausted. That was like, honestly, I think the most mentally challenging thing that I've ever done, where even when I was home, like 2-3 weeks after, like your brain is exhausted from having to be on all the time, like on your biggest guard.
Yeah. How do you decompress from that? Once you're off a show like this, how do you go back to like a normal life when you're used to like people backstabbing you the entire run?
Yeah. Well, also Wes gave me really good advice. Like while we were filming, I was like crying and he's like, dude, listen, this is going to help you so much in your life. Like, this is so hard that now you'll be able to do so many more things. And it is true. Like, I'm even now, like, even more unfazed, unbothered, just because that was such an intense experience. But it is weird going back to normal life. And like, I got a job right after working at the Four Seasons because I was living behind it. So I'm like, oh, I'm going to be a server. This is cute. And I'm working there and like someone tells me what to do. And I'm like, what? I can't talk up right now. So filming is fun. I want to do it again, and I want to be even crazier, because when else in life are you allowed to? It's so fun.
Wait, so I mean, you actually do get an enjoyment on these shows of being able to kind of really kind of exploit that part of your personality and be the person that a lot of us kind of want to be, but don't have the balls to be in life. And like you said, you're
Yeah.
at the Four Seasons. You're not usually probably like that, but I always wonder, like Teresa Giudice, she's famous for flipping a table. Like, how many times has she flipped a table when the cameras aren't rolling?
Right. Or is it just because like you're there, so everything's
Yeah.
in? And then too, even Teresa, that was so many years ago. Like you grow and evolve. I don't think anything could piss her off enough to flip a table.
Well, I mean,
You
but I
know?
think people are already always testing her to see if they can get her to that place. And I feel like,
Exactly.
well, that, and I felt like Larzo was testing you. Like, I mean, did you watch these episodes back? Because even in this,
Yeah.
not the episode that's airing this week, but the week before, the stuff she was telling Teresa about you, I just thought it was like, God, that is so overtly rude. And like you were in the other room having your meal.
Yeah, her statements just like completely contradicted each other because she's like, I never met this girl. We're not friends. I met her 3 times. Then it was like when she had Teresa in New York patch up, she was like, well, me and Victoria are not. And it's like, well, if it wasn't a big deal, like, I don't know what all of that was for so strongly from. And yeah, it was definitely like weird to watch back because I'm like, it's giving obsessed. Like, I'm not running around talking about her.
No, it was giving. I mean, and I've watched Larsa on Real Housewives of Miami, so I kind of understand her gameplay in a
Yeah.
sense, but she doesn't really follow her own rules ever. So it's like she'll judge somebody else, but then the same rules don't apply to her. And I was wondering who were your favorite people in the house? If Larsa is potentially your least favorite, you said Wes gave you advice. Who else did you love?
Love Wes, love New York, loved Teresa until I could tell she was being heavily influenced. And I did appreciate watching back, though, how many times she did have my back. But ultimately, her vote against me, I was like devastated. So yeah, New York was my favorite. Wes broke my heart too with his vote, but I felt closest with them in the house. I followed Candy around like a little puppy dog. Like I wanted so badly Candy to like me, and she did not like me.
I had Wes on a couple of weeks ago, and I'm always kind of impressed slash shocked when, you know, you can get him talking about gameplay and all of like, oh my God, you've got to do this with this and this with this. And I feel like you came in with more of, I'm going to be myself. I'm going to try to get along with people. I'm going to try, like, what did you come in with any sort of idea in your head about, I'm going to do this specific gameplay, or were you just riding the wave?
Well, coming from The Bachelor, I felt like on that show, I was all antics. No one got to know me at all. So, kind of coming into this show, I was like, I want to be vulnerable because on my season of The Bachelor was Abigail, and her book just came out, The Deaf Girl. So, like, she's so vulnerable, and that was so well received. And I really wanted to follow in her footsteps and just try and be vulnerable, share my truth a little bit, and play up the queen villain, but not have that consume the whole situation. And I mean, game playing wasn't even a blimp on my radar. I had no idea.
Well, because you also had Katie Thurston on your season as well, right?
Right. Yes.
Do you stay in touch with anybody from that season? Like, I mean,
Here and there, Katie's reached out to me here and there. I didn't ever feel like very connected to anyone, so there wasn't a strong foundation to stay in touch with. But yeah, I'm friends with some of them on social media, but not like friends.
what do these situations from The Bachelor and then some of the heat you got from that and then House of Villains, which I think we've kind of rooted for you more than we ever did on The Bachelor, when you come out of these situations, like we were talking about decompressing, but do you actually take a moment to say, oh, okay, this is what I learned from this experience. This is what I can use it to actually get to this next level that I'm trying to get to. Do you have those moments with yourself?
Yes, for sure. I mean, I love to journal.
Hey, oh my God. I love when somebody brings out a journal. Like, what is the last thing you've written? What is the last thing you wrote in your journal? Can you share the last thing? Or just the last sentence?
Dream big. Always know that everything you need is already yours.
See, how could anybody call you a villain? That's like a great sentiment. That's like a positive thing.
Yeah, I'm very positive. But No, I think I'm a villain because I'm like outrageous. Like I'll do things
Yeah.
for a reaction, but it's more like class clown vibes, not like school bully vibes. But The Bachelor, you know, it was a different
Yeah.
time. It was the pandemic and all of that.
I it is so funny because I was thinking like I watched your season and I was shocked to read that that was only 2021. I was like, oh, that was like 2016, and then I was like, oh my god, because the pandemic made like time mean nothing, so I don't know
Yeah.
what year is what year anymore. And I was wondering how many other shows you were approached to do after that, and why House of Villains was like, you know what, I want to do this one.
Um, House of Villains I like because it's like a comedic show. And when the producers approached me, they said, I was like, villains. And they're like, you don't have to be a villain. Like, you can show that you're not a villain. So I was just excited to be given a different platform. And I really like that fans have been able to like vote for me or like,
Yeah,
uh,
root for you.
root for me along the way and see more depth of me. And I think they do a great job of this on that show, of not being too one dimensional.
No, actually, that's what I kind of enjoy about the show because it is comedic, but at the same time, there are these great moments of interaction where I feel like, okay, I know Victoria a little better than I got to know her on The Bachelor, and you actually seemed like one of the kinder people in the house. You also seemed like in the beginning you had a little bit of a flirtation with Safari. Was that anything?
Probably I was just bored.
Is that what it is? When you're bored, you flirt? Is that the
Well, and like coming from The Bachelor, I'm like, what do I do? Like I hadn't spoke to okay, like Wes and Jesse are married, Rich and Candy are gay. So I'm like,
so those are out.
coming from The Bachelor, I'm like, I gotta flirt with someone. Like that's how you stay on.
What did you think of? These are people that have all been released thus far. What did you think of Richard? What did you think of Larissa from 90 Day Fiance?
I loved Larissa. I was so confused when she was yelling at me. I'm like, I didn't put you up. Like, why are you mad at me for? But I guess she wanted to go out with a bang, which she did. And I love her now. I've kept in touch with her. I think she is a great girl. And Rich, I think he is self-absorbed, calling me self-absorbed.
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, I think Rich is obviously self-absorbed. Yes.
yeah, like what? Who else has been released?
Let's see. I
Camilla.
got a yeah. Let's see here.
I think
Richard.
that's it. I was the fourth. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so this week's episode, which I haven't been able to see yet, it comes out every
Really?
Thursday. Well, now I haven't seen it. I know that you got released. I know that you
Oh,
got
you're
kicked
gonna
out.
love this episode. It's so good.
But last week they had this like you guys were all in like kind of bodysuits and it was either blood or plasma
Yes.
and you won that, but then you were still put up. And we saw Wes and his machinations trying to make sure that he wasn't put up. I mean, I think this Wes has kind of such brilliant gameplay, but at the same time, I just feel like this guy could get kicked out just like on a whim. But if not, I feel like he could go all the way just because of how serious he takes these things. Did that blow you away in kind of talking with him about gameplay during the actual time you were there?
So my relationship with Wes, like I thought it was so genuine, and I do think there's genuine elements. So that's what's confusing about him, because then you're like, were you game playing me? Like you with Wes, you just don't even know what was real or not. So
Yeah.
that's kind of crazy. And he's a genius. Like he really is. Menza
He's
should
a,
actually call him.
I mean, well, he calls himself a genius, so, but I do think he's done this for so long. And I was like, this dude has had a career in reality TV for coming up on like 2 decades. And that's what I was wondering, like, this next experience, this next time in your life. I mean, you said obviously you would do another reality show, but what kind of reality show would you want to do? Would you want it centered around your life? Would you want to do a housewife show? Would another competition reality series?
So the housewife scared me off. I'm like, okay, I don't.
Let's get you on Real Housewives of Miami so you can like get into Lars's face again.
Oh gosh, no, they would have to pay me like a lot to do that. But I would love to do a show about my life and like starting in a business, something kind of like a la Paris and Nicole. Like I like silly shows. Or absolutely, I would love to do another competition show and like challenge myself because it's such an incredible experience. Like, I'm proud of myself that I made it that far on the show. Um, yeah, I would love to do any show. I really do love like the creativity and being on set, which I think this show had a lot of creativity with the
Oh,
challenges
yeah.
and the spoofs. Like you're going to see in this next episode, they have a funny scene with Teresa. You're going to like it.
What did you think of Teresa's cooking?
I told Teresa I'll come over for dinner and give her another chance, but in the house, I was not a fan.
And since we cover a lot of housewife shows over here, Teresa, I loved the scene where she was opening all of the cards from her husband, Louis, because he wrote her a bunch of cards during the experience. Do you watch Housewives at all? Are you aware of like their relationship? And what did you think of her talking about Louis?
So I stopped watching Jersey Housewives. I like Beverly Hills. I started Salt Lake City, but then I'm like, I like Vanderpump Southern Charm.
So wait, you watch all of those shows?
Yeah, no, I'm a huge Bravo girly.
Oh my God, what did you think of Scandival?
I feel bad for them. I mean, like, only because I got so hated on in the media, I can't even imagine like the magnitude that was blown up. And it's like, listen, like, we're human beings. We make mistakes. Like, the people don't need to be crucified. That's my opinion. And it was just insane, like how blown up it got.
Well, I think it's because, right? Like, because we know these people for like over a decade. So you're personally invested, and there's a weird parasocial relationship that the audience has with you guys. So we think we know you based on these like small edits. So when they let us down, or when you think somebody's like really good and they disappoint you, but it was another kind of weird experience. And that's what I was like, who are you, am I allowed to, who are you dating now? Are you dating?
Me? I'm single.
Would you ever date Tom Sandoval?
No, he never would have been my type, though. I don't.
Are you more of a Jax girl?
No, I'm not a Jax girl. I don't even want to say it, but for a while,
say it.
No, I thought someone from Southern Charm was cute, but now, no. I don't know if there's anyone that I would date.
Please don't say Austin. Are you about to say Austin?
No.
Okay.
But someone worse, probably.
It's Whitney from Southern Charm. That's great. No, I love that you actually watch reality shows. And then, because I was thinking about you going into this house, like when you know that you're going to go into House of Villains, how do you do anything to prepare? Like, because it's not like, I mean, there's physical challenges, but not insane. What do you prepare?
So Camilla was preparing with she watched Survivor, this or this, and I think that's why she tried to gameplay, but she ended up going home first. So like I just really prepared by like just trying to be myself, so like getting to know myself the best so that I could show up as myself, because I am someone who could be easily influenced. And even New York says I'm a bit of like a chameleon, where like I could be in this group and then this group. So I worked really hard on like getting to know myself so I could show up as myself more. But yeah, I guess you could prepare by like watching strategic games. I wish I had watched like Traders and stuff like that, because I feel like that's why Larsa came in more prepared. Like she came from Traders with Marcus, so he was kind of giving her the 411. God knows she didn't come up with these ideas on her own. And then she came into House of Villains and like had a perception of what was going on.
Is there anything you wish you had told any of these cast members before you left that were there? Like, is there one? Because sometimes I'll do that in my head, where I'll have an intense conversation, and then like a day later I'll be like, damn it, I wish I had said this. That would have been perfect.
No, you don't know how many times I'm in the shower and I'm like, oh, should have said something else.
Yeah, that's what I was like. God, did you say everything you needed to say in the moment?
You'll definitely see my finale is chaotic, like fireworks, because I was so shocked and so upset. So I think I said mostly what I needed to say. And also, I've watched certain clips on TikTok where like Lars is coming for me and I kind of just stand there, and I'm okay with that, because I don't want to be someone who's like malicious. So even if she's like that, I'm okay that I didn't respond amazingly with comebacks. Like I was just like, why are you so pissed for?
Yeah, but sometimes I totally understand that. But sometimes when it's Larsa, where I'm like, I want somebody to come at her with guns blazing, because sometimes she just really irks
I
me.
did
And
my best. I
I
tried.
felt like, well, I just felt like she treated you unfairly. She treated, like, I mean, she was truly acting like she was the queen, and she came in late to this game.
Yeah, I don't know. With her, for sure, I wish I stood up to her more, but I feel like I did enough initiative by just not kissing her ass because I think everyone else kissed her ass. So at least I did something by
No, I mean, I
a
think
little.
you came off looking like roses in that whole scenario, and she looked
Yeah.
horrible. Did she ever follow you on Instagram?
I don't want her to follow me on Instagram. Her and I mean, you're going to see the rest of the season still gets a little crazy. And then I come back for the finale for my
Yeah, of
final
course.
vote. So her and I do have we patch up then. And since then, again, I haven't heard from her. Like I reached out to her recently. It's the same old song and dance. So I'm okay with that. And it just is what it is.
A couple stupid questions. It seems like you guys are ordering Mexican food every meal. Is there only one place to order food from? Because I literally am watching each episode and you guys are eating burritos or some Mexican food like every meal.
That is so funny. We ordered from different places, but we were in the valley. So like there was not like creme de la creme out there.
Here's another stupid one. What book were you reading when you went off to read your book when Larsa and Teresa were talking smack?
I was reading the book called Worthy. I forget who wrote it, but she's the girl who created like BB cream and then went big on QVC. But her name is Jamie, I think, Worthy. And I try to read like self-help books to put like nice thoughts in my head when people are being mean. So yeah.
What is your day-to-day life? Well, a couple questions. In terms of fan interactions, because sometimes you have been portrayed as a villain on these shows, especially when The Bachelor. How do people respond to you in public? Do they recognize you?
Yeah, I feel like I've had experiences where like people are nice to me in public, and then I've had experiences where people are rude. I think now people are nicer, but yeah, mostly nice in public.
Yeah, I was wondering what the craziest fan interaction was. And then I was wondering, since primarily there are female audiences for reality TV, did you have any weird guys slide into your DMs based on watching you on reality TV?
I mean, all day, every day, but it's crazy. But I feel like too in public, I'm not sure. I changed my look a lot. So now I'm
you
doing that
do.
again. I was blonde for a while. So I feel like I'm always in disguise just because I always change my look.
Yeah. You had some tough words for the Bachelor producers back in the day. Was this a completely different experience in House of Villains in watching this show be put together? Because it feels like this was potentially more of a positive experience for you.
Yes. So, okay, I do apologize to the Bachelor producers. Because I meant the aftermath was the worst experience of my life.
Yeah.
Filming was super fun. I mean, it was intense. That is a different style show. So on House of Villains, I even asked Wes, like, wow, I never see the producers. Was the real world like that? And he's like, even less. Like, we never saw them. I'm like, oh my God, The Bachelor, I was with producers 24/7. So it felt like. So it was a different type of experience. But I'm not mad at the producers anymore.
So Victoria, if you got asked back for another season of Bachelor in Paradise, you might consider.
Yeah, if I'm single, I would do it.
If you're single, you told me before you are single.
Right, but that's in May. I'm hoping I have a husband by then.
It's cuffing season, you guys. She's gonna be married by next year.
It's possible.
It is possible. Yeah, by the way, if you keep journaling and manifesting, it could be completely possible.
Exactly.
So I'm a huge fan of Joel McHale, who hosts this show. Did you like Joel? Were you a fan of his?
Yeah, I think Joel is just so funny. Like,
yeah.
I remember we were having a drink or something, and he's like, okay, now I'm going to show you where I hide the good stuff. Like, he's just funny. So
Yeah.
I like him. Yeah.
Did they let you get sleep in the house? Did they give you a full 8 hours? Because some people were waking up saying, oh, I didn't sleep at all last night. I was so worried. What was the sleep schedule on House of Villains?
So you have no doors in the bedrooms. So I think it's difficult to sleep without the doors, along with like, oh my gosh, it was so stressful. Like the only time I slept good was when I had the little cock, and when I won the challenge, I slept good that night. Because otherwise you're so like, am I gonna go, like, it's stressful.
Yeah. Wait, did anybody, who snores in the house?
I don't know if anyone snores. Safari, I feel like.
He seems like a snorer. This guy seems like and he's cocky enough where he would feel comfortable snoring and not care.
Literally. Yeah, I think he snores.
Okay, so we want you back on reality TV, but I was also thinking as we start winding down here, what is your everyday to day life right now? I know you've had businesses and companies in the past. You said you work at the Four Seasons. Like, what is your day to day?
My day to day, spending time with my dog. Mental health is huge to me. So like journaling, and then Pilates. Yeah, just working on different projects. Like I do some assistant work right now. Each day is different, but for me, that's what works. I'm not someone who have like a routine. The only routine I have is like my probiotics, my coffee, my journaling. And then other than that, I see where the wind blows me.
So each day is a new journey.
Yeah.
What is your best quality and what is your worst quality, you think? Like my worst quality is I have like imposter syndrome. I was like, oh God, what do you do? I don't, nobody believe, like that's my worst quality. What's your best and worst quality, you think?
I think my best and worst quality could be the same one. Like I'm always on time. I'm always super punctual. But then my worst quality is like, I don't understand when people are late, and I'm just like super aware of time. So I think that's the best and the worst.
Yeah, I mean, that totally works. Listen, I want to see you on reality TV again. You were talking about the Traitors. I think you would be good on the Traitors. I wish House of Villains fed right into the Traitors, because I actually really enjoyed this entire season of House of Villains that I've watched thus far. The cast has been really great. For you, those of you not watching, go catch up on it. You can stream it on Peacock. New episodes air on Thursday. You're listening to this on Friday, so unfortunately, Victoria is gone, but you can catch up on all of her exploits this season. You're going to follow her on Instagram. I'm going to put that information right there. And then how else do we keep up with what you're doing?
Mostly my Instagram. I have everything on there. And then, yeah, hopefully I'll be on more shows, and then you guys can keep up with me there. Yeah, I think.
Well, come back on to talk Vanderpump and Southern Charm at some time. Recap an episode with me.
Yes, and we have New Beverly Hills tonight.
No, it was last night. It was already on last night. You got to watch it. Dorit is crazy. Dorit is coming for Kyle this season.
I know. Whose side are you on?
God, that's tough. I gotta say, I want to be on Dorit's side, but sometimes she's a little too long-winded where I kind of tap out, and I feel like Kyle, she's been there since she's an OG since season 1, and she's gone through insanity, but I'm really here to watch to see how that all explodes this season. I think it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah. And what's her name? Sutton was like going for Kyle. Like everyone's always going for Kyle, and I love her because she's Capricorn like me. Poor Kyle. Like Dorito needs to chill out.
Okay, you got to come back on to recap an episode with me. But Victoria Larson, ladies and gentlemen, go follow her on all social medias. House of Villains airing right now.
Yes.